A new documentary claims Al Jazeera is not just anti-American, it actually encourages terrorists to attack Americans. Cliff Kincaid wrote and narrated Terror Television, The Rise of Al Jazeera and the Hate America Media. And Dave Marish is a former Nightline producer, is now a reporter for Al Jazeera International, a legendary media guy. Thanks very much for joining us, both of you. Cliff, I'm going to start with you. You've got this documentary out, and you say you have proof, you have footage of captured terrorists who say they were motivated to kill Americans by Al Jazeera. Explain this.
We have the film footage of the captured terrorists saying they came to Iraq to kill Americans because of the words and images on Al Jazeera. Plus, we've got some documentary evidence that the first managing director of Al Jazeera was either getting paid by the Saddam Hussein regime, but was certainly under orders from Saddam Hussein and his son Uday. We also have footage in here showing Taser Aluni, the former Kabul, Afghanistan bureau chief of Al Jazeera, who is now in prison for 7 years in Spain on charges of being an agent of Al-Qaeda. And in addition, we have an Al Jazeera employee, a suspected terrorist, now at the prison at Guantanamo Bay. So this is quite an important documentary that sets the stage for what's happening next, which is Al Jazeera now wants to expand into the West, into America, with an English language channel. And in order to accomplish that, they're showering big Arab oil bucks on people like Dave Marish.
Dave, is this where you work?
Well, first off, I wish that Cliff's last statement were more accurate than his first ones, but unfortunately, all of them ain't true. I am not taking a bath in petro bucks. I've taken a cut in pay because I believe in what Al Jazeera International is going to do. And I should say that Al Jazeera International is related by same ownership to Al Jazeera in Arabic, but we're a completely independent, completely autonomous, completely editorially different channel. So as I said before on Fox, beating us with the stick of Arabic makes about as much sense as beating Fox News for the problems that the Murdoch-owned Star channel has had being caught in bed basically with programming decisions made by the Beijing government and communist China. That's got nothing to do with you and Arabic's missteps, and they've made some of them, although I think overall they're a pretty good news channel, as yet have nothing to do with us.
Dave and Cliff, we have a studio audience here. A comment?
Yeah, it seems to me that when we start hearing what they're really saying in English, public opinion is just going to say it's not going to happen. I mean, it'll die. I just don't see that it's going to.
Well, we hope it dies before it gets started. They're hiring some big PR firms to try to convince us that we have nothing to fear from the Al Jazeera International Network. But everything I said that Dave Marish objected to is absolutely documented. We have the information in our new documentary, which is available at aim.org.
But Cliff, Dave was pointing out that there is a difference between these two places act independently of each other. Do you buy that? Do you believe
No,
that?
and in fact, it's interesting to note, Juliet
Cliff,
and
on
Mike,
what basis don't you buy it, since we don't have a product on the air
Let me
yet?
explain. The fact is that Dave Marish's old colleague, Ted Koppel, was interviewed by Al Jazeera for one of these jobs, and he says it took him 38 seconds to realize that wasn't for him. Why? Because Al Jazeera International, like the old Al Jazeera, is being paid by the same government and gutter, an undemocratic regime which doesn't tolerate internal dissent, but which poses as a friend of America. This is one of the richest Arab oil Gulf states, and if Dave Marish isn't getting the big bucks, well, that's his problem, because according to press reports, they're putting $1 billion into Al Jazeera International.
Question here.
I think.
Well, I don't. You know, I can't respond obviously to uncited quote press reports, but I got to tell you that we are being run on a pretty lean budget.
Dave, you want to say how much you're making?
What we are trying to do is traditional
if it makes a difference.
Western American news from 4 different points of view. Arabic point of view, broadcast out of Doha 11 hours a day. European point of view, broadcast out of London 5 hours a day. Western Hemisphere point of view, broadcast by out of Washington, where I'll be anchoring 4 hours a day, and the Pacific Rim Asian point of view from Kuala Lumpur, also 4 hours a day. So what you're going to get is straight reporting, but nuanced for the interests and priorities and, yes, I guess you would say some of the prejudice and biases of these various 4 geographical points on the globe.
People have to realize, Juliet and Mike, that Al Jazeera International, like the old Al Jazeera, is funded by the government of Qatar. This is an Arab government-financed news and propaganda operation, and the old Al Jazeera, as we demonstrate in this film, has been inspiring anti-American violence, causing these jihadists to go to Iraq to kill our servicemen and women, and it's a dangerous propaganda and terrorist front organization.
Cliff Kincaid and Dave Marish, very quickly, when does it launch?
Qatar not only poses as an ally, it's convinced the American government it's an ally. That's why we had our press coordinating base in Doha during Gulf War II. It's a capitalist state. It's a free market state. The emir is trying to invest petrodollars in income streams called media and education. I don't see anything wrong with that.
All right, I'm going to have to cut both of you off here. Sorry, both of you. We have to get going. Sorry about that. We're up against a hard break. It's a very good debate. We'll have both of you back. Dave, when does Al Jazeera International launch?
I wish I had an answer for you. We are hoping for the fall.
Okay. Dave Marish, Cliff Kincaid, thanks very much for joining us.